Well, it's officially Halloween month, and today we're going to have one of the top psychic mediums, good witches that the world has ever seen. Yes, we have the amazing Patti Negri on the show. We're going to talk about Halloween. We're going to talk about witches. We're going to talk about spirits. And we're going to talk about how everybody has the ability to talk to the other side. And how do you approach going into a haunted house? Halloween wouldn't be the same without Patti Negri. So I hope you join us today. I'm Tony Sweet with Truth Be Told. Please welcome to the Truth Be Told studios for the manyth time, the one and only Patti Negri. Yes, it's the one and only. I could not do Halloween without her. The one and only Patti Negri. Thank you so much, Patti.
Thank you so much, my friend, for having me on. It would not be Halloween without me seeing you on this square or live in person. Yes.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I see you everywhere. You might as well just sprout wings because you're going somewhere all the time, and I think it just proves and shows, you know, what impact that you have on our genre, on the paranormal genre of what we do. And so I appreciate, you know, calling you my friend, and I really can't believe it's been many years that we've known each other. But like I said, Halloween is not the same and without you. So I had to start off October with you.
Thank you. I am thrilled to be here. Yeah, no, I am on the road a lot. It's good, but I come home almost once a week for a day or two. It's good.
Right. Your husband that's probably I remember Dolly Parton saying that's how her and her husband stayed married for so many years. She was on the road most of the time.
It's a secret. I do think it's a secret. Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and just get started. You know, Halloween is, you know, only just a few weeks away now, and a lot of people. I did a segment the other day about Halloween and the apocalypse. How, you know, there's a lot of signs of what Halloween was really meant for, with ties in with Atlantis and with other things. But, you know, we think of it as candy and just dressing up as ghosts and goblins and witches. But there's a bigger meaning to Halloween, and I kind of wanted to ask you, with someone that, you know, is psychic and a good witch and traveling the world and going into haunted houses and haunted spaces, how has that changed Halloween for you now that you know what you know?
Yeah, well, Halloween actually is Samhain. It is the pagan New Year. It is a holiday. It is the day when the veil is thinnest between the worlds. So we actually celebrate ancestors because you get closer. Again, you can communicate, whether you're doing a seance or just picture a grandma in front of you. It is the time to celebrate, just like Dia de los Muertos in the Latin tradition. It's at that time of celebration. Actually, the reason we put on costumes and serve candy is to appease the spirits. That's turned out to the mundane world version of dealing with the veil being thin. You put the jack-o'-lanterns out front to scare away the dark spirits that are in and around. So for me, it's like, that means it's seance season. Everybody wants a seance. It's time to go. It's my busy season for everything, because not that you can't contact them all year. You really can. I believe everybody can. You're going to be that much stronger at Halloween, Samhain. And it is a great time to celebrate our loved ones on the other side. Well, Andy candy.
Andy candy.
Andy candy.
Yeah. I'll take the Reese's little pieces, you know.
Me too, yeah.
That's my favorite. Because I remember doing this segment and it was talking about, even though jack-o'-lanterns, they actually started with turnips. Is that correct?
Yes, because they did not have pumpkins in Europe.
Yeah.
They started in Europe to celebrate. They did not. So they carved turnips, which would be much more difficult, I imagine, because they're little, but they didn't have pumpkins. So
and they're not as hollow, so it'd be harder to carve.
Yeah, it would be way harder.
Who likes turnips? Who would say turnip pie instead of pumpkin pie?
Exactly. But how many people actually, I guess people do. I remember when I was a kid, we would dry the seeds or make pumpkin seeds. I've carved many pumpkins in my day. I've never made pumpkin pie from scratch. Just saying.
My grandma has. I haven't.
Okay.
It's easier just to go
Exactly.
Plop it.
Pumpkin hearts.
Perfect. But I always find Halloween fascinating. It's an exciting time of the year because that it's getting cooler and it's fall and the people seem to have more energy and the veil is thinner. So I don't know if our senses heighten. Is that true that our senses heightens also? As
yes,
psychic?
Our senses heighten because when the veil is thinner, everybody's going to be, whether you call yourself a psychic or a medium or intuitive, right. All your that intuition, that gut senses get stronger because that separation is stronger. Plus, it is the time it's the inner time, the dark time of the year. Not dark meaning evil, but that's the time to go inside. Right. Where come spring and summer, it's a time to outside and let's celebrate. Now that it's going that inner work, whether that's shadow work or just that contemplation, it's the time of year to do that.
How does one, because when our sensitivity is stronger and senses are stronger, how do you protect yourself? Because when the veil is thinner, also can some negative spirit come through also and affect you? Because you have season affective disorder where people get more depressed because of the less light and da-da-da. Is there a way to also protect yourself in this time of year where you're not being affected so much by spirit or negative anything?
Energy or thoughts?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, completely. And there's a million ways to do it. And you pick the one that works kind of what works for you or within your belief system or your faith within that. And intention is the number one way to do it. I am choosing to look at the bright side of things versus the cloudy side of things. I am choosing this because we know how much we manifest an intention, whether you look at the new age way of doing it or the old pagan way of doing it or just the positive thinking way of doing it. Intent is everything. And again, there is nothing wrong with kind of going inside. I mean, regularly, that's what I do on the new moon every month. Go inside. What do I want now? Not what did I want last month? Not what does the world or my partner want from me? What do I feel? What do I think? That's a good thing to do. And then we build into it. And then the full moon, we celebrate and do everything. And then we start releasing again. Yeah. It's a nice way to look at things.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way because, it is a time of celebration. It is beginning, really, Halloween is the beginning of all the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and, whatever you celebrate.
All of it, yeah.
Yeah, all of it. And so I think it's a good kind of a introduction to the holiday season. So I think hopefully go into it in a positive way. So most people pick a costume that kind of fits how they're feeling, or kind of maybe it could be a sexy Santa or a whatever you want to pick. But what is something that you would suggest for people that don't want to go into a costume that could bring a demon or anything? Is there anything that you shouldn't wear during the holiday season, or something that you can pick that's just make sure it stays light? Because
well, again, I'm going back to intent. You want to put on your sexy little devil costume. But if you honestly believe that can bring in a dark energy, go be a sexy little angel costume. Yeah. Really, it's your belief system that controls your reality. 100% your belief system. You could put on the biggest monster or whatever costume, and that's fine. It's a big, happy, biggest monster costume. It's your belief system or whatever that is. So I just say have fun with it. Yeah. I would say challenge yourself, not like dark or light or evil. You're going to let in a demon. Do a challenge like, I want to be more cat-like. Wear a cat costume, whether a sexy or regular. I want stronger, braver. Put on a lion costume. Just like in acting work, you do mask work and you do costume work, and it gives you a permission to come outside of your normal self. And all the fun stuff and all the good stuff is outside of that comfort level and normal stuff. So risk a little bit, just a little bit, to expand.
I love that. I love that. And I know also religion, in many ways, look at Halloween as very evil. Why is that? Why does religion, or especially Christianity, looks at it as an evil event?
Well, I think it's about control. I mean, it really is about control. And because they will say anything that takes your eyes off God or off this is of evil. I don't think that was Christ's teaching. That was not Jesus' teaching. That happened in the 15th century, 16th, when they was like, let's control this. They did so much. If you study the Bible or study things, they just changed everything and interpreted that they want to control people. And like, oh no, let's save the rewards you get once you're dead in heaven. So do what we say while you're alive, and then you'll get no, enjoy life now, and then we'll create that afterlife. I think it's completely about control. It is not, there's nothing evil about celebrating nature. I mean, Christianity I love them. They're all of our holidays. Christmas is the pagan holiday, Yule.
Right.
Jesus had nothing to do with pine trees and Yule logs. That's the pagan Yule. Easter had nothing to do with bunnies and Easter eggs. That's our fertility and celebration of May Day and Ostara. They wanted to bring in this new religion and then dress it up so people would understand the stuff that they already did. Everything is about a little bit of manipulation, not always for a bad reason, but just that's what humans do.
Yeah, unfortunately. One thing that you mentioned when we started is seance. I want to go way back to when Patti did her first seance. I want to know, were you scared and were nervous, or what was it like when you first did that number one seance?
I was obsessed. I was talking to spirits since before kindergarten, 4 or 5 years old. And I was literally 7 or 8 when I wanted to do a seance. Didn't really exactly know what. 7 or 8. I went in my little suburban Los Angeles, Long Beach area at home, went in the hall because there was no windows because it was the middle of the day. You couldn't get darkness.
Right.
I stuck towels under the doors. I was with my best friend, Sherry Jones. We're like, okay, we're going to talk to the spirits because I knew they had a lot to say.
Right.
And then I realized I didn't know any dead people. I was dead. And so I'm like, movie stars, Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, anybody I knew as a 7 or 8 year old. And I came up with whatever, and I don't know what I said, but it worked. I've just kind of built into me. And all of a sudden, my little windowless, lightless hallway filled with orbs and shadows and lights and sounds and
oh my.
And screamed and went running outside. And at the same time, I was jumping up and down going, this is real. And this is something I can control. This is something I opened it up, and I've spent my whole life studying what that is. It all comes down to energy, whatever your belief system, whatever template of belief system you put on top of it, a Judeo-Christian, a pagan system, a very academic system, it doesn't matter. It's all energy. And I figured, okay, we can control. This is our realm of existence. And since I was that age, I believe that coming into our world, the other world has to play by our rules.
Yeah.
And I do believe that. So that's why I will walk into the spookiest of haunted houses or the Cecil Hotel or the Black Dahlia House and know that this is my world. You have to listen to me. And that belief system, therefore, makes it that much more true. So it makes me that much more brave.
No. I have to say, Patti is one of the bravest of the psychics and mediums out there.
World, damn it.
That's right. That's right. Well, I know. I think it's funny because I've watched I Love Lucy. Who hasn't? If you haven't, where have you been? They even did a seance on I Love Lucy. Oh,
they did? Oh, how fun! I probably seen it when I was a kid. Don't remember.
Yeah, I just and then of course in Ghost, the movie Ghost. When Whoopi Goldberg finally kind of, at first she was kind of joking and not even joking, conning people into thinking she was a psychic, making stuff up. All of a sudden, when Patrick Swayze's spirit opened up to her and she's like, who's this talking to me? It kind of opened the door for all these spirits coming and wanting to reach their loved ones. And she didn't really know how to shut it off. Wow. How long did it take you to learn that talent, to being able to shut the door or kind of stopping the spirit when you didn't want it to interfere with your life?
Yeah. I have always been really good at what I call the on-off switch. I picture an old-fashioned on and off. And again, it's intense. When I was a little kid, I would literally put my thumb inside my fingers, kind of like you're sucking your thumb with your other fingers. Right. That was my off switch. People used to make fun of me. It's like, why are you doing that? But that was my off switch. It just kind of came natural and shut it down. And that's how it was. I don't have to thankfully do that anymore. I can okay, off. I don't want to go to the grocery store and see somebody's dead mother and talk to me. I just want to go for my produce. Right. That is it, which makes the on that much stronger. So now on, I could do a mediumship session. I could do a session with somebody. I can go on a paranormal investigation. Because in witchcraft, the more you divide this and that, the better it is. Like, say, if we have our witch's broom, you lay it down. This side of the broom is the mundane world. You stop at red lights, you go to work, you're on a time schedule. And on the other side of the room is where magic happens, and fairies and elms and angels and all these magical things. And the more you separate the two, the stronger both are. So I think that on-off kind of just came naturally. And again, luckily, I don't have to scrunch my hands together anymore.
They're like, oh, she lost her thumbs. I feel like I have an ability. I don't have the ability that you do where I hear ghost, I see ghost. Mine is more energy with people that are still here. I mean, that's where I feel. Yeah. It's
the same gift. You're just not seeing through the veil. You could do it. You're super intuitive. You're super sensitive. You're super sensorial. That's the word I use. All your senses are heightened, Tony. How you're affected by smell, color, sound, taste. We all are affected by it, but you're hyper affected by it, right?
Yeah,
You're very empathic. You could feel what somebody's feeling.
Yeah, normally there's people that I'm like, no, I don't want to be around them. They're like, you don't even know them. I'm like, no, I'm not. And then like months later, they're like, oh, that person was terrible. There's something I can feel energy from people, and some people, it's kind of like when you meet somebody and you're like, oh my God, I really love this person. Felt like I've known them for 100 years. You probably have, or but
lifetime after lifetime.
But that's where I feel like I've learned to where certain things I can't be around, certain things I can be around, and I just don't want it to affect my energy. So so how does one going into like myself, if I said, okay, Patti, I want to learn how to, especially around Halloween, I want to learn how to use my ability a little bit more, because there's a lot of people out there that, like you said, that everybody has it, but some people are just hypersensitive.
Right.
But
everybody can learn to do it. Not everybody can learn to be great at it. Like everybody can take piano lessons. Everybody can learn to do piano and read music and do scales. Not everybody's going to be a concert pianist.
Right.
But everybody can develop it. I think the biggest thing in learning is you have to learn to silence that chattery left brain. I talk very much left brain, left reasoning, rational, 1 + 1 = 2. We need that every day of our life. Yeah. That will shut down that right, intuitive, creative, spiritual artist side. You have to learn to shush that logic and listen to your heart, to spirit, to there. And the first thing I teach people, again, is how to get that quiet place to do it. And the biggest lesson is not to be afraid of being wrong, because that's that left brain chattering again. It's like, just trust it. If you go, wow, I'm thinking about grandma all of a sudden, and it feels like grandma's behind me. Just say, okay, grandma's behind me. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. And just like, hey, grandma, how you doing? Don't analyze it. If you right then go, oh, it can't be grandma. It can't be somebody opening the window, somebody cold. You just shut it down. Just say, I'm just going to say, yes, it's grandma. hi, Grandma. And in 2 hours, if you want to analyze it, great. 2 hours, was that really Grandma, or did somebody, it was indigestion, or somebody opened the window? Go with that. But it's just allowing it and trusting it and not being afraid of being wrong. If you're wrong, who cares? It wasn't Grandma. I teach in my mediumship classes at my school for people. It's like, you just have to do it. I remember once around my dining room table, and it was a seance, and it was all LA people, and a giraffe came into the room. And I'm like,
wow. My
left brain wanted to go, there is nobody here who has a giraffe. That is just stupid. You're making it up. Don't say it. But me, with my training and stuff, go, just say it. Logic doesn't have to be a part of it. And I just went, a giraffe just came into my dining room, spirit, of course. And a girl had grown up in like South Africa or something and had a giraffe. And had I let that left logical brain shut me down, I never would have said it. It almost happened to me on a TV show, too. I was doing a Portals to Hell with Jack Osborne and Katrina Weidman.
Oh, yeah.
Anymore. And they flew me, so I didn't know where I was. They flew me to Memphis, and didn't know where I was in a thing. And all of a sudden, this boom, 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 this thing flew by me. And it was like a spirit bird. And again, my logical left brain wanted to go, oh, that's stupid. Don't say anything. And Jack or Katrina, I don't remember, goes, what was that? And I almost threw it away. I just went, oh, a spirit bird flew by me. I almost didn't say it. And the whole premise of the whole dang thing was about this woman, her son had died, and a bird had come in, and this woman came and gave her a bird necklace. They got bird chirping on our thing afterwards. And I almost didn't even say it, but I did. Thankfully, again, because just say it, get out of your own way. If you get past that lesson, then you could really start trusting, and then spirit will talk to you more and more.
I've had the pleasure of putting on Parapod Festival and having Patti come to Mentryville and go into this home that definitely had spirits in it. Mm-hmm. And there was also a schoolhouse that also had spirits in it. And for those people that see you on television, they're like, because I've heard this, they're like, oh, that's all fake. It's all fake. It's all fake. But I've seen you work, and I am so impressed by the way you handle the spirits. You respect them, and you treat them, like I said, like they matter. And I think that is very respectable, and I'm sure they appreciate that. But how does one go into a space like that? How does one go into a space and not mock them? Because that doesn't, even in human form, you don't like being mocked. How does somebody go into a space and respect a spirit?
That it is. Respect is my one rule, whether we're one-on-one or sitting around a seance table or paranormal. Mm-hmm. That is my one rule, because the only time that anything has ever happened negative or really got in trouble is when somebody got disrespected. No one wants to be disrespected, dead or living or spirit or elemental or whatever.
Right.
That just needs to be a self-rule. I always say, if you're going in, again, ward yourself, again, within your whatever. You work with angels, call on your angels. You work with dragons, call on your dragon. Shut down the little spot on the back of your head. You want this open, that third eye open, so you can sense and feel. But everybody on the back of your head, right where your head and neck come together, that is the biggest portal on our body.
Oh, really?
Yes. And people, so I will I'm shut that down unless I'm channeling or want to channel. I want this open and this closed. That is why, think about it, when you pray, you bow your head to open that up for God, for spirit. So I want this shut, this open, put whatever protections you do, your sigils, your symbols, your cross, your Star of David, your Helm of Awe, with your dragons, whatever works for you, and then go in respectful. I always say introduce yourself first, because you don't want to walk into a thing and not say it. So whether, again, I have everybody say, welcome spirits. Hi, my name is Patti. My name is Tony. We're just here to get information from you. We just want to know your story. And guess what? They're going to respond just like living humans would. If you go in screaming at them, who wants to talk to you? Right.
Yeah. Or they respond like a human would, like, get the hell out of my house.
Yeah, exactly.
I find a lot of people that don't respond or respect how they are. And I think that's either why they don't believe, because, don't respect human form, and they don't respect themselves sometimes. So I think maybe that's probably why they don't believe in this. So I know you have told some stories, and I'd love for you to tell some again, because about people in seance. I know Patti is probably if not the best in the world to have a seance with, but being an observer, how does one go in prepared for that? Do you just show up, or should you do like a ritual, or should you, I know, come with an open mind, but is there something that you can do to maybe invite or welcome the spirits easier before you even get there?
Yeah. Well, I don't know before you get there. Again, before you get there, again, I think it's just an open mind, and be respectful, and just be willing to see, to sense, let your senses be open. Try not to be drunk or high.
Right.
I mean, maybe a glass of wine is great to have you relax, but don't be drunk or high. Be open. And then what I always do, it's an old Victorian thing. I always suggest everybody should have something sweet before a seance. They would used to sherry and cookies, or tea and cookies. I honestly think it's a blood sugar thing, because everything, science is behind everything. It raises your blood sugar, so you're going to be that much more aware. I saw a spirit with higher blood sugar. And then afterwards, I always have everybody eat salt. Literally, here's some potato chips, here's some pretzels.
Really? What's that do?
Grounds you, because you want to get grounded. Or touch iron. Here's my iron fry pan. Here's my little cauldron. Touch the legs on your iron chair, because that opens up the veil and close. And the way I do seances, not everybody has a million techniques, all equally valid, but I literally, since I was lift the veil, so everybody around the table is going to be intuitive and more psychic. Even if you think you're as psychic as a brick, well, today you won't be. Today you're going to sense more, because it heightens all those six senses. And then even when we close the veil afterwards, I say, spirits, you don't get to go home with anybody, even if you want to, on both sides. It's like we open the veil, we close the veil, but we wash the windows. Everybody usually stays a little more intuitive for at least a few days. Their dream life gets a little brighter and more interesting for at least a few days. All your senses are heightened.
How do you, because I've talked to people as guests, I've talked to people that have been to haunted spaces, or maybe even a seance, that they say the spirits followed them home. First of all, why is that? Why does a spirit leave a space? And how do you protect yourself? And how do you, because you just said, don't follow me home, but how do you make that where that won't happen?
The best thing to do, again, is say that, because this is our realm of existence, what 5-year-old Patti figured out. They have to play by our rules. Most people don't know that, so they give their power away. We give our power away all the time to fear, other people, limiting belief systems. But just like you walk out of that haunted house, that paranormal, just say, thank you. And I say it after we are closing the veil. You guys, I have you picture your loved one stepping back into the darkness, and a curtain or a wall closing all around you. Intent. If you're out at some paranormal investigation, like mentor, whatever, stand on the ground, ground yourself. Just you stay here. Nobody gets to go home, and it works. And again, the ones they want to follow home. Is that they're going to feel they're going to get fed more than that. So just don't let it, because it's going to drain it's not as fun as it sounds. I know a lot of people getting in the paranormal, let's provoke them, let's do this and that, but it's really more fun when they work with you. It's just as spooky. You're going to get just as much stuff, just like with haunted dolls. It's a good haunted doll is 10 times more fun than a bad haunted doll.
I'm sure. What is this when I've heard this before? I've heard this many times before. Oh, just tell them to go to the light. Well, that might be true, but there's still spirits that stay. If it's that easy, then there would be hardly any spirits at all, because we just say, go to light, go to light.
I disagree with that. I think 95% of spirits are not stuck. They're hanging out because they want to.
Yeah.
from grandma wanting to watch the grandkid grow up to even if you're at a prison, that's the life they knew. They're not being tortured anymore, but that's the life they knew. They're hanging out. There is a percent that are being stuck there. They have either what I call the shades. They don't know they're dead for some reason. Maybe it was unexpected or violent or an accident and not in the big scheme of. They're the ones that are a little like, what's going on? They are the ones, go to the light, Carol Ann. And I've done that many times, whether we're at a seance circle, it's just, I have everybody build light at their heart, shoot it into the middle of the circle, build like a little laser beam thing. Right. And literally you could sense the second that spirit gets into it. But most are gone to the light. They're just hanging out because they want to. The other thing is when somebody is being held back, there's the shades, the ones that don't know their death or that's stuck in the liminal space between. That's one. Most are hanging out because they want to. Mm-hmm. They want to hang you home because you look fun to drain your energy, And the stuck ones need help. That's like at the Cecil Hotel. There's a bigger, darker entity holding in spirits. And that place, when there's been a lot of abuse and a lot of drug and alcohol stuff, that's really going to call in dark elements, and that's been 100 years now at that place.
Wow.
So
yeah, do you pretty much know instantly when you walk into a space that it's a more of a dark energy versus just somebody that's stuck and just like can go happy-go-lucky spirit?
Yeah, pretty immediately. But I think everybody can. That doesn't make me special. Like we were talking earlier, like you walk into a place, I like this person, or there's something, be wary about this person. Mm-hmm. Trust that instinct. We really do have it. We've all walked into a room going, this feels really good, or this doesn't feel good.
Yeah. But is there something different about an ancient, like have you ever walked into a place where you're like, this doesn't feel like a spirit that has been on Earth before?
Oh, yeah.
What is those spirits? What are their...
Okay. We have what we call ghosts or spirits. Those were things that were living people, right. And they died. They're stuck or they're not stuck. They're being held down or they're just hanging out. Whatever. We understand residual haunting. That's... Right. More like you're going to get at the Airbnb. The lady in white doesn't really have to walk by every hour in her white dress. Right. That's more like video. It's something so strong happened. It's a terror. They're not going to react back to you. And then there's the everything else category, that which was never human. That's getting into the elemental realm, fairy realm, tree spirit realm, getting into the angelic realm, getting into the demonic realm, getting into the ET realm, getting into the cryptid realm. There's the things that were never human. They are certainly out there.
How do you approach that differently? You can't just say, can you tell them, just leave me alone, go away?
Well, it is different. It is different. Again, I still believe that this is our realm, but there is stuff. I don't know a lot. I have done. One of my early teachers and early mentors, Maximilien de Lafayette, he was an expert in the ET world, the alien world, especially Anunnaki stuff. Mm-hmm. He written, oh my God, probably 100 books. And he was a linguist. He spoke 100 languages or 21 languages, but most of them ancient, like ancient Sumerian. Ancient Sumerian is Anunnaki, like Anunnaki. Right. And it's also what Bigfoot speaks. He had given me these words to say and these very much symbols and sigils and sacred geometry. I did it twice. Once I was with a known actress in my backyard, and I was saying these words and these sigils that was given to me by Max. And this thing showed up that wasn't a ghost or an element or a fairy or grandma. I was like, hello, okay. And that I wasn't bad or spooky. It was spooky because it was unknown. And then we did it again. I had 6 of us, all part of his federation that he had like tested mediums and serious testing going through. And we gathered around my dining room table right here upstairs. And we did these words again and these symbols. Oh my God. We opened this crazy portal. We were doing weird body movements. It should have been filmed. It wasn't. Almost like that. What is that? Oh, the Beetlejuice.
Yeah, right.
weird sounds. We were doing toning and harmonizing. One girl started channeling that, like that alien channel, ba da 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 da.
Oh, wow.
I've not been into that world. Then this big thing laid its big old arm across my dining room. It was crazy and great, and not like anything I experienced in all my decades of that. I don't really know. Again, you have to go in cautiously because I don't know enough about that. So I'm not going to use those words and use those sigils when I'm with a public group doing.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Let's do a seance. Come and give me $2. It's like, no, I don't.
That would be, yeah, that would be scary.
That's the deep end of the pool. And until you know how to swim, start in the shallow end.
I love that. I'm going to use that saying. Well, you mentioned haunted dolls, and the good ones can be a lot of fun. But I want to touch a little bit on Annabelle because it was in the news recently with the passing of Dan Rivera, which was sad to lose one of our own. But I know a lot of people was blaming it on Annabelle, which I'm glad people kind of put that to rest. But is there objects such as Annabelle and certain objects that we do have to be careful with on how we treat them or be around them? So can you kind of give us some advice on that, on how to recognize that?
Yeah, and Annabelle is one of them. Again, I was with her 2 weeks ago. I'm going to be with her this weekend because she's on tour. I'm kind of on tour with her. I've danced with her, but you have to be protected. Because, I do not believe she killed Dan. I know Dan. I've investigated with Dan.
Right. And I'm sorry that as you lost a friend.
I don't know if she escaped the prisoners in New Orleans or burnt down the thing. That's right. When all this happened is when my book launched. And at first, when the prisoners is like, okay, you need my book, How to Care for Not Care for Haunted Dolls, the proper acquisition, care, and feeding, because you can also get ripped off buying haunted dolls from, it's like, this seller had 912. So that's what my new book, Dollcraft, is about. But then when Dan passed away, it's like, I had to pull my advertising. I'm not going to play off the death of a friend. So good timing, then bad timing. Yeah. But you do have to. That's why, again, in my book, I say you really want to find a positive, because a negative haunted doll, when I first got my Belle, she's actually upstairs right now. I've got my other girls behind me.
Oh, yeah, I see them, yeah.
Yeah. Hi. But Belle is upstairs right now because she was filming yesterday. But a girl sent her to me because she had seen me doing a seance with Peggy the doll, Zach Bagan's haunted doll in his museum, who's given 2 people heart attacks just looking at pictures of her. Documented 80 people sick, and now more than that. Now she's in the museum with her own room. But she had seen me do a seance with Peggy the doll and figured if I could handle Peggy, I could handle my doll Belle. And so with my permission, she sent her to me, but it was so dark, I would not let the sun set without banishing the negative spirit. I knew there was a positive spirit underneath, and it took her a week or 2 to come out. But even with that, I had to keep the herb rue in her hand because she would drain people's energy. Again, a negative spirit is going to make you angry, make you tired, make you sick, make you ill. It's not all fun, scary ghost walking around. They use your energy in a negative way. So you've got to figure out what it is. I had something in my house, only positive. I work magic in my house. Right. This is my house. I have my husband, my dog, my cat live here. I'm not going to have. I was sitting in my office. I love my little office. I'm in it right now. And it's like, it's cute. All of a sudden, I didn't want to be in my office. I would take my laptop upstairs and my phone. I'm like, I love my office. What is it? And I'm looking around and I saw this little doll statue and I go, oh, it's you. Something had came into it. I'd had it for 2 years. It was a gift from a friend, like a rock star friend. And I'm like, oh, it's you. You can't be in my house. So me being me, I called Zach Bagans. I went, Zach, I have something that's too dark for my house. Do you want it in your museum? Perfect place for it. And he goes, well, what is it? So I texted him a picture. He goes, oh, yeah, that's a nail fetish hate doll. I'll take it.
Oh, what?
Went to Vegas the next day. I brought it. It started acting up that night. That night, the tour guides all said, it's in a perfect place, though, not where there's people sleeping and going into their vulnerable space and families and children and animals, because dark spirit's always going to go for the weakest first, which again would be animals and children or anybody ill or elderly. And you don't need that. Have a happy haunted dolls are just as spooky. They move things around. They move. You feel the footprints and upstairs and downstairs. But
did you give Matt Rife any advice on now that he's the owner of Annabelle?
Yeah, Matt and Elton are, and I've done many investigations with both of them. Matt, people don't know this. He is a serious paranormal investigator, and
I didn't know that either until he bought the doll.
Yeah, yeah. If you go on the overnight page on YouTube, you could see he's with us at the Cecil Hotel. He's with us lots of places. He is serious and has been this for years, just not what he got famous on, like, because he's been doing stand-up for years too. No, and I've worked with him and Elton and the guys along. Here's your crystal. Here, do this. So Elton, his partner in it, Elton, is actually the very first endorsement in my book. He said,
really?
If anybody gets Patti. So they've got this. But so yes, they have their pointers. And they do know about being respectful. They are funny. They are YouTubers. Spirits love funny. And they get a little rambunctious once in a while, but they know what to do.
I love it. Well, in all the years you've been doing this, has there been any spot that you honestly did not want to go into?
No.
I love Patti for that. Wow.
I like to be scared. To me, that fear, I like a challenge, and I like to be scared. And I'm of the belief system that I can control everything because I'm human in my world.
Right.
So but I like to be scared because fear can freeze you in your tracks, make you not live the life you want to live, not make that conversation, that phone call. Or fear is the biggest motivator we have. Or like, I'm so scared, I'm going to ride that roller coaster. I'm going to go on that paranormal investigation. Fear can just incentive adrenaline. So I like to get scared.
I can tell. No, I can tell you love what you do. You love to work with people. People just love you, and your energy is just,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you can tell.
We are a funny species, quirky, flawed, fabulous.
Yeah. And also Patti has also a podcast called The Witching Hour. And guess what? She's been nominated for the 2025 Podcast Award for the Best Metaphysical and Spiritual Podcast. This year, I started this 3 years ago, because there was never really one specifically for our genre. And I just thought it was so important to honor our peers. And Patti has won, I think, both years.
Yes, I won for TV medium. These are seen 100 times a day.
Oh, there it is.
Behind me. And there is my one for best TV.
I love it. Yes.
My one all lit up. You can't see it in all the light for the best.
Love it.
These are my pride and joy, Tony. I want to thank you for recognizing our industry. You're right. Nobody does.
No, it's the first.
Like my little altar to Parapon.
I love it. Well, thank you for that. But congratulations on the nomination again. With your Witching Hour, can you tell people a little bit about what you do? So if in case they haven't listened to your podcast.
It's again, audio everywhere, video. You can get to my YouTube or from my website or on Paraflix. Yeah, I have amazing guests. I have, again, in half the magical, witchy, spiritual, self-help world and half in the paranormal world. So people you see me on TV with or YouTube with are my guests. And then a lot of fellow authors and stuff. So we'll go into aliens or cryptids or this, like you very much. I stay kind of focused on it. It might be a love magic, this or that. So I do, very selfish, really, because I get to learn something every week.
I say that every time. I'm being selfish because it's more. If I had two people listening, I don't care because I still am learning for myself. I say that all the time.
That's me too. So that's what it is. So we're selfish. That's because we're very similar in what we do.
Yeah.
And we have these amazing people, and we get to talk to them.
No, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. I think we're coming up on 1,100 episodes. Wow. I know it's crazy, but I just wanted to highlight because I know the hard work that it takes to continually do a show. You know, there's tons of people like, oh, there's so many podcasts. I said, but most people don't continue to do it. And I've
never missed a week in 5.5 years. I've not missed 1 week.
Yeah, here too. And
I'm the same as you. Yeah.
But you, like I said, your podcast is amazing. Your guests are amazing, and you're so inviting, and that's why I encourage people to watch it. But in 3 weeks, we'll be hearing the winners, and hopefully Patti will be a turkey.
What's a turkey?
Well, haven't you ever done a bowling where you get 3 strikes in a row?
No, I'm not that good a bowler.
Oh.
I'm a gutter queen.
Oh, hey, it's the trying that counts.
Exactly.
But
that's what they say, and yeah. But you try.
But I'm excited, and I know you got things to do. But what's coming up for Patti? Where are you going next? What are you doing?
I am traveling almost weekly. Depends on when this airs. Almost every weekend I am somewhere. Yeah. Leaving for Rock Island this week with Annabelle, and then I'm headed out to. I'm doing a thing at Levy House right here in Ventura, very haunted house. Then I'm going to be Scarefest weekend. Kentucky, and then Paganonomicon in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, and then New Orleans for the Vampire Ball. I'll be doing a seance at the House of Blues in 4 days, and book signings for the new book. And then I'm going to Brainerd, Minnesota, all the hot spots, and then Texas, and then back to Texas, and that's just in the next couple months. So go to my website. My whole list is there.
And you also can watch all the stuff on Paraflix too, right?
Yeah, you can go Paraflix. I stream at paraflix.com. If you've seen everything, which we all have on Discovery or Travel Channel, we have a whole new set of shows you haven't seen yet. Watch it there, and on my YouTube page. Get to my website. You can get.
I love it.
You're there, and yeah, and my Witches Movie Coven on Wednesdays. If you like movies and you want to laugh. Live on YouTube every Wednesday at 6:00 Pacific. 5 witches talking about witchy movies, everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, from those bad 70s bad witchy films to Wizard of Oz to Practical Magic to The Craft.
I love it. What is one of your favorite movies when it comes to horror or paranormal? What is one of your favorites?
I love them all. That is why we started Paraflix. I love them all. Wizard of Oz, of course, because I've got a Glenda thing. I have the big pink dress of Glenda. I'm working on arriving in a bubble that I still have to work. Not so good. But I do like the Conjuring series, Good, Better, and Different. I like all of those. I like the spooky over the slashery kind of horror stuff.
Me too.
Like spooky and paranormal things and the ghosty things. And I like the old school. I was the tiniest kid also talking to ghosts growing up, watching shows that most little kids wouldn't. Watching old Alfred Hitchcock movies, and The Birds was my favorite movie when I was like 3 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Outer Limits and old Twilight Zones, all these old spooky shows. I like to get scared.
What was your parent? How did your parents? I mean, did they go? What is it? Where did this kid come from?
No, because it's so weird. I mean, no, and then I'm not like this goth kid. I'm this light and fluffy Patti.
Yeah, you are.
No, what was good about it and why I was able to develop it is that my parents did support it. My mom would always go, not like, ooh, that's evil, or that's bad. Don't play with your Ouija board. She'd go, yeah, Grandma did that too. Yeah, Grandma could see that too. Yeah.
All right. Last question before, because you brought up Ouija board. A lot of people, especially around Halloween, use it. How do we utilize it safely and effectively?
Yeah. Respect. RESPEC. Same thing. Be careful who you allow in. Do it all the wake it up, do all the normal, and state who is allowed in. Again, our realm. Only good and light spirits with high vibration, whatever words you want to use. To my loved ones, you don't want to go anybody out there. Anybody, you're going to open your front door of your home and go anybody out there, serial killer, the mass murderer next door. And you also don't want the drunken ghost in front of the 7-Eleven who says it's your grandma. You're not my grandma. Stay away from tricksters. Again, high vibration versus good or evil ghosts are just as much fun, and you're going to get better information. Consider the source. So be who you're allowed in, and you said it, and then make sure you close it afterwards. I have safely used a Ouija board my entire life. I have dozens, and I have the same ones I had when I was 7 and 8 years old. I
remember when we were kids, and scared the bejesus every time we used it. And also there was another one. I remember my brothers and sisters tried. I still remember this. This shows you I was really young. And they said, okay, go into the bathroom, turn off all the lights, look in the mirror and say, I hate Mary. I hate Mary. I hate Mary. And I wouldn't do it because they said Mary would, an evil Mary would show up. And did you hear about that one?
I've done that since I was a kid.
Oh my God.
It wasn't, we didn't say I hate, we said I believe in Mary Worth. There's a million different things of that same thing I believe in. I did that maybe a year ago with some young influencers, young teen influencers. We did it and she came.
Did she really? I wouldn't do it. I was too scared at the time. But I do remember that. Of course, my brothers and sisters are like 6, 7, and 8 years older than I am, but they thought it was the funniest thing that I was crying, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Just be careful who you let in and then shut it down. I don't think they should necessarily be sold in toy stores. They should be in metaphysical and occult and spiritual stores. Right. They should have a complete opposite set of directions. This is not a toy and whatever. But yeah, I've used them safely my whole life.
Well, there you have it, straight from Patti. And you can go to pattinegri.com, check out all her upcoming tours and books and all kinds of stuff that she does. And I know you're so busy right now, but if people want to hire you for a reading or seance, I'm sure it's going to be after the holiday, but maybe not. They can reach out through, I'm sure, your website,
PattiNegri.com. Yeah,
okay.
They just go to my website. I see people every day. Even when I travel almost weekly, but I'm always home midweek, almost always. So yeah, Zoom sessions. I work internationally, so I'm very reachable. I'm not literally. My phone numbers are listed on my thing. I'm not hard to get a hold of.
Well, Patti, I love you so much, and I'm so glad that we had this time together. But appreciate you. Good luck on the nomination. I hope you are a wiener, and we will see you very soon again.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being on Truth Be Told. Once again, please, it happens because of you every week. I'm here Friday. Share the show, like the show, leave a comment. And until next time, I always say take care of yourself and each other because that's all we have. Take care. Bye-bye.